Feel a little under the weather today, huh?
My hand is.
Yeah.
I thought that'd go away. They usually do in the daytime. And if you use them a little bit, they go away. But this one doesn't seem to be wanting to go away.
You've had gout your whole life?
Oh,
When did that first afflict you?
oh, I don't know. That was probably close to 40 or something. Started getting it.
For the first time when you were 40. Wow.
Pretty close to that again.
You lived a hard drinking lifestyle pretty much when you were young, didn't you?
No, I never bent my elbow at all.
What'd you do in Aspen during all those... What do you say, you were there for 10 years?
10 years drinking beer.
Yeah. Having a good time.
Mostly beer, too, in Aspen. Of course, then you could get a pitcher of beer for $1.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Now,
Aspen was a beer town back then.
well, it was everything,
But beer was the prevailing drink.
the Red Onion had one area there they called Beer Gulch. It was a big, long table with bench type thing on both sides of it. They called that Beer Gulch. Everybody come off the mountain at night and get in there. Buy a pitcher of beer and drink beer.
Those were good old days, eh?
Yeah, I guess they were. All they did was play.
How many days a week did you go skiing?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Didn't it get old after about 150 days of skiing?
You was ready for spring, I guess. Pretty much. Of course, we were working. We weren't just skiing. I was on ski patrol for quite a while. Quite a few years.
Was that the first thing you did in Aspen, was ski patrol?
No, I was packing crew first. It was the first thing. In the wintertime. First time I went to Vail was,
You mean Aspen?
to Aspen. I went up there and they was cutting Ruthie's Run. And I went to work up on the hill cutting trees and this and that. What you do when you cut ski trails.
What, you mean with a chainsaw and a chain?
Some had chainsaws. Some, you had an axe maybe or a chainsaw. We didn't do too much bulldozer stuff then. We piled it up by hand and burned it.
How long did that take? Just 1 year to get...
Well, we could Ruthie's Run there, but there was always new stuff every year. There was new things going.
When did they build that, is it a restaurant over there at the bottom of Ruthie's? Or the top of Ruthie's Run?
The top of Ruthie's was Midvale. They never did have a restaurant there. They had one at the top of the mountain.
Isn't there some kind of a little building over there by Ruthie's?
Yeah, it was just a ski patrol headquarters was there and a couple other little things. There wasn't anything to eat there.
Was that there before you guys cut the run, or?
No, it was about the same time.
So they built that the same year as they were cutting the run, or?
Well, we cut runs every year. But you didn't have great gobs of people skiing like you do now.
So did Aspen change a lot from the first year you were there to the last?
Oh yeah, it changed every year.
Where did you live when you were there?
Oh God, just different places. I even built 2 houses when I was there.
Did you own them, or did you just build them for someone else? No, you owned them.
Then I ended up selling them.
What year did you sell them?
Oh, I don't know what year it was.
Can't remember. Was it before you went to Vail or after?
Oh yeah, before. Before I left Aspen even.
Did you meet Mom when you were still over at Aspen?
No.
So you'd already decided to leave Aspen, and you were...
Oh, I was gold uranium prospecting.
Yeah. You did a lot of that up by Craig, didn't you?
Yeah. I had 35 mining claims up there. And Union Carbide came along. And the hell did they give us? I forgot what it was. Just to drill them. They drilled a few holes in every one of them, but they never did find enough to make it worthwhile.
So you didn't get rich uranium prospecting?
Didn't get rich, no.
No. What made you attracted to Georgetown, that you met Penelope?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it ski area connections,
Well,
or...
I guess I worked at Loveland Basin a couple of winter times, parts of the winter anyway. And that's where I met Penelope. She was a waitress in a restaurant down there. There's a guy named Bob Gibbs.
Bob Gibbs?
And I went down here the other night to this picture thing they was going to take her in the Eagle for its 100th birthday.
Oh, where they lined everyone up on Main Street? And
Yeah. And, oh, it was just a big bunch of people is what it amounted to. And this guy come up to me and said, "Hi, remember me?" And that was Bob Gibbs.
you're 82. Bob Gibbs must be about the same age as you, isn't he?
He's younger than I am.
He's younger than you are, huh?
Not too much, but some. But he, I guess one of his kids lives up Eby Creek now or something, so he spends quite a bit of time over here. He's still in Georgetown, but he's not in the restaurant business anymore.
Oh, did he own the what was that
Alpine Inn.
Alpine Inn in Georgetown?
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
popular when we were little.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
Hmm.
we used to go and get the smorgasbord or whatever
Oh,
they
yeah.
called it.
It was pretty popular for a long time. Well, it was the only place along the road then.
I guess it was, wasn't it? I remember that
Yeah.
it used to take, when we were small,
Yeah.
it used to take so long to get to Denver from the Vail area that we would often stop in Georgetown and eat at the Alpine Inn.
Yeah. Could be.
There was always a lot of traffic on that little road. It was a 2-lane. It was just old US 6, wasn't
It was
it?
2-lane all the way then, wasn't it? In fact, over, well, that pass over there, where you go up by Arapahoe Basin and all that, that was all dirt road over the pass. They finally got it paved.
You mean Loveland Pass?
Loveland, yeah. They finally got it paved, but it was dirt road for a long time.
You worked at Loveland Basin for a couple of seasons?
Yeah, part-time anyway.
Is that where you met Lefty McDonald, or you met him in
Oh,
Aspen?
no, he was in Aspen.
He worked with you in Loveland, didn't he?
No, he didn't work in Loveland. He worked with me in Aspen.
You got caught in a snowslide, didn't you, at Loveland?
Yeah, a little one. Got almost buried.
What happened?
My
How'd
head was
that
sticking
come
out.
about?
No, I just skiing out there in the wrong place, I guess.
Were you working that day, or were you?
Oh yeah, I was working.
So you were outside of the resort boundary?
No, not too much. But we blasted above that area that morning. And we went back there and there's skiing down. We were kind of out through the trees, and here come this slide at us. There was 3 of us.
Do you remember who the other 2 guys were?
Nobody got hurt or anything, but
You got buried, didn't you?
well, kind of. Not really. My head was up, but you still had those ski poles on your hands. It was kind of hard to pull your hands in when the damn ski pole was stuck. You had to get that strap off your wrist. And the other 2 guys, they were behind me, so they didn't get in as much as I did.
Did you get buried clear up to your shoulders then?
Oh yeah.
With just your head sticking up out of the snow?
It knocked my skis off. My skis, I never did find them. They found them next summer. They were just an old pair of skis anyway.
So how long after that did you work on getting started at Vale?
Well, I was working on that all the time then.
How serious were you about it, getting it done at that point in time?
Well, real serious. That's me and Pete. That's when I got Pete. Pete was over in Loveland getting that going. I stopped to see him one day, see what was going on. I knew him from Aspen. And I got to tell him about, well, at that time we called it that mountain on the west side of Vale Pass. And he got pretty interested, just talking. I told him about the back slopes and all that stuff. He got pretty interested and wanted to see it. So it just kept going from that.
How long before he went over to take a look at it? Was
Well,
that next summer or?
no, that was in the fall. I don't know. I think he came over. We drove up. You could drive almost to the top of the mountain with a Jeep.
In the summer?
Old logging roads, yeah. Had to clear a few trees and stuff, but I had a way to get up there. And it was in the middle of the winter. I don't know what, I was in, what the hell was it? Either February or March. I think it was February. That's when me and Pete climbed all the way to the top on skis.
That was the first winter or the?
No,
Oh, so that was after you'd shown him the mountain in the summertime.
oh yeah.
So he had an idea kind of where he was going.
Oh yeah. Took us 7 hours to get to the top. But on the way up, we cut a lot of ski trails and built lifts and all that stuff. We'd stop and look, point, and say, well, we have a lift up here and up there. You need a good, just make a good ski trail down through here. We had to do zigzag back and forth and stuff.
7 hours to get up and how long to get down?
Oh, I don't know. We didn't count that.
That's pretty quick, I bet.
We had to get pretty quick because it was getting dark. But coming down wasn't bad. You could follow. Well, it's what Get Along Road is now.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy to get back down to Midvale because from the top down to Midvale, that was almost all open.
Oh, so is Get Along just an old logging road, pretty much?
It was an old logging road.
Because otherwise you would have had to do a lot of tree skiing to get down from clear up there.
Yeah, we did some anyway, just kind of looking at possible ski trails and stuff.
Yeah, if that was February, you had a lot of good snow, didn't you?
Back and forth. Yeah, the snow was good. In fact, I think it was about 8 feet deep or something. Because I had some snow stakes up there on top of the mountain. You couldn't even find them. They were 8 feet tall.
How long had you been measuring snow? How many years?
Oh, I don't know. Probably 3 or 4 years. Before I put snow stakes up. I'd been up there before there was any snow stakes.
How many years did you go up on Vail, seriously? You said you tried to get,
Oh, we ski bums in Aspen. Hell,
yeah.
every ski bum over there, including Pete and myself, had a dream of finding a new ski area.
You and Lefty and Pete and a lot of different people. You said that you had tried to get someone else interested in the place.
Yeah, a lot of different people.
Some-
That's what I say, all the ski bums in Aspen. Some of them, nobody ever climbed to the top of the mountain, but we'd come over and we'd climb up a ways and look around and stuff.
But you had contact with the president of some.
But we climbed up, we were looking at Beaver Creek too at the same time.
Was it Great Western? What was the name of the company that you had talked to the
Gulf and Western
Gulf and Western? That's what it was.
owned this stuff that they got up at Minturn now, going strong, at 5,000 acres that they're talking about now. They had about the same plan that this guy Jim's got. But they sold all the whole thing, all the mine and everything.
Were they one of the companies that you talked? You said you spoke to someone else before you spoke to Pete.
Oh yeah, a lot of, that's what I say, most of the ski bums in Aspen.
But I mean, as far as serious interests go,
Well, they were serious, but they didn't have any money or anything. They're just like me, you can't do anything without money.
it was hard to get started, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, just like anything else.
So Pete had contacts?
Yeah, he got a few people. You let Fetch out?
Yeah, she's outside.
She's pounding on the door. Something with different people. And, well, me and Lefty we climbed up Beaver Creek a couple times. Back then there was always a Forest Service guy who'd go with you, pretty much. Then we looked at Mount Massive over at Leadville too. That's a pretty good area. But since we were looking at that, in fact we had a permit to do that. Back then, now all you had to do was fill out a piece of paper and you got a Forest Service permit.
And nothing like today, huh?
No. Then the Forest Service guy would go along with you.
How long did it take Pete, once you got a hold of him and he got interested, how long did it take him to get things done?
Well, it took 3 or 4 years to get it before we could start cutting trees. Of course, we bought the ranch.
How long that was that the next year, or? Because he brought people in to invest, right? Or did he have money of his own?
No, nobody had any money to invest, but we had two attorneys in Denver that were interested. They took care of a lot of stuff like that. And they got other people interested. Pretty soon it just, this guy and that guy, and pretty soon there was, never did get very much money really. Like I said, what I say, we were looking at Beaver Creek pretty strong too. And Mount Massive over at Leadville. But Mount Massive, that got turned into a wilderness area. So that put that out. That could have been a pretty good ski area.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a glacier kind of up there toward the top. You could probably do some work on that and make it bigger and ski in the summer.
Yeah, there's no real year-round skiing in Colorado, not like Mount Hood or someplace.
Oh. It's Mount Hood. Did you read the paper?
Was it melting?
Hell, everything up in that country's closed, the ski areas. They had them here.
They haven't had any snow, have they?
Yeah. I think they're getting it now since they closed. I think some places getting quite a bit. But they've had snow, but it's been so warm it melts off and rains.
You guys didn't get any snow the first year that you opened Vail for a long time, did you?
No, it wasn't too snowy. You didn't have snowmaking then either.
No,
it was tough to get down to the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Was that a strange year, or did it not snow a lot until December?
No, well, it's a good thing it didn't snow earlier. We wouldn't have got open. It was in December before we got open. It had snowed a lot before Thanksgiving, like it sometimes does. We probably wouldn't have made it. Of course, we built that first year. We built a gondola lift and 2 chair lifts, and cut quite a few ski trails.
That sounds like an awful lot of work.
Yeah, it was. And we did it with $1.5 million. Now 1 chairlift would cost you at least $2 million. Of course, they're quite a bit different chair than they were then too.
Yeah, you're just building those little, with a 2-passenger?
Oh yeah.
The chairlifts?
Yeah, that's all there was then.
Kind with the bar down the middle? Or did they have the
No, they didn't
Two.
have any bar. They just had,
2 bars on the outside so that you could fit people?
no, you just sit like a chair. It's just double width, enough for 2 people.
I mean, the chairs themselves, do they have a center bar?
No, no center bar.
So they had the 2 on the outside that came together up above and
No,
then attached.
no center bar. Just 2 people, but they went pretty fast. When you get on, they'd bump you in the leg pretty good. You wasn't expecting them too quick. Took quite a while before they got getting into these new chairs now, detachable. Well, Rapo Basin, they still got the same damn thing. Well, they're new chairs, but they're newer than they had before. They got the 3-passenger now. Two good 3-passenger lifts, but they're not detachable. They're gonna have to probably put in some detachable lifts.
You built chairlifts on a lot of different places before you did anything at Vail, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we worked on chairlifts in Aspen a lot in the summertime. You didn't build very many then though, all those, but you worked on them.
Did you,
And then after we got Vail going, I went over to Aspen Highlands when they put that in. about the first year I went over there and built that, with 2 chairlifts over there we built that summer. I worked on those with those guys over there. And then the next year after that, I went down to the Broadmoor Hotel and put that chairlift in there. You had to live. There wasn't any money. Wasn't anybody giving you any money for trying to get something going. So you had to work.
Did you work on snowmaking at the Broadmoor as well?
That was about the first snowmaking in Colorado right there.
How'd you rig that up?
I didn't. It was Larchmont snowmaking outfit.
Oh, okay.
But we put it in. And Lefty McDonald, he was down there too with it. That fall and through the winter. He'd had something with some snowmaking. They had a little play hill up there in Denver, and they had a snowmaking outfit there to get some snow. And they had one of those slide things. They kind of went away now. What the hell did they call those things? I forgot.
The Alpine slide?
Alpine slides, I think they were, yeah. They had one of those there, and then they had a little bit of skiing with it.
You did some of the early snowcat stuff, the grooming.
Oh yeah, we did quite a bit of that. We did a lot of that. First tractor was just a case, a little case tractor. Yeah, it was case, yeah. And they put extra wide tracks on it. Aspen had that too. And you had the bulldozer on it, so you could do quite a bit with them, but you couldn't get all over. They wouldn't go everywhere. And they didn't leave a very good, you'd fix that and put a piece of culvert behind it, and you drag it, would roll along behind and smooth it up.
Oh, you mean one of those wide corrugated culverts?
Corrugated culvert, yeah. You drag that behind you, and you could do a little work as you went along with the bulldozer. You couldn't go everywhere like these snowcats, so, or steeper hills and stuff.
That was the beginning of slope grooming?
Yeah, Aspen was the beginning of slope grooming because we walked sideways all the way down the mountain.
Yeah, that's what the packing crew was all about.
Packing crew.
Was packing that snow with your skis.
Packing that snow with the skis all the way down the mountain.
Yeah. That was
Once in a while, you'd have to. Everybody got to ski for a ways. Yeah, the packing crew is. That was pretty funny.
So you figured out how to tie a culvert behind the snowcat and drag that along and groom some of the trails at Vail?
Oh yeah, we dragged that behind. Then we got a. Who the hell made that? It was made in Canada. That was a snowcat that had 2 front tracks and 2 rear tracks. What was the name of that thing? I forgot the name of it. And it kind of bent in the middle to steer.
Oh, it articulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good cat. I don't know whatever happened to it. It was made in Canada, I know that. We had one of those, and you could drag a piece of pipe behind that. And you could groom pretty good with that. That took over from the other cat, from the big old cat. And then all these other guys started getting in it. Larchmont, I think they were the first ones. And Piston Bully, which I see quite a few of those up in Vale now. They come from Europe. Piston Bullies did. I don't know if they still are now. But they got these snowcats down now, boy, they just go everywhere.
Yeah, you didn't have that much of an ability to get around back then, did you?
No, no. No. If it was steep, or anything steep, you went back to the packing crew. You had to pack it.
Aspen used to have the World Cup races when you were there, didn't they?
No, they had one.
Just like the downhill, or what was it?
FIS.
Yeah.
Well, they had a downhill slalom and giant slalom.
They had all the stuff, huh?
Yeah. I think that's the first time it ever was in the United States. That was about, I think it was about 1950.
When were the Sun Valley Olympics?
Oh, I don't know, that was later.
That was later?
This wasn't Olympics. This was just
Yeah, this is just World Cup.
what they call,
Yeah. So they did the World Cup for a while first, and then they did the Olympics at Sun
the
Valley.
Olympics were around a long time, and so was the FIS. But they didn't have it in the United States. I think New York had it first, I think. The Olympics.
Mm-hmm. How was Colorado at holding the World Cup back then? Did they do a pretty good job, or?
Oh, yeah. What they did then, though, you wouldn't even... Their downhill was... it was interesting, but it didn't have a... It wouldn't work for the Olympics, what they had there. It worked for the FIS, but it wouldn't have been enough for the Olympics.
How many vertical feet they need for the Olympics?
Well, Squaw Valley got the Olympics, and they made before, I think you had to have 3,000 feet, or close to it. But Squaw Valley got it, and it was 2640. They let it down to 2640 for them. And I think that's what they set it at now, as low as they'll go.
What's that Birds of Prey downhill? How high is that? How many vertical feet?
Birds of Prey.
Over in Beaver Creek.
No, that's not enough. That's less than 2,500. Right at 2,500 vertical.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 500 feet.
You've got that idea for a downhill over in Eastvale, though. That would be...
Well, we've got 3,000 feet over there. It's going to be the Olympics one these days.
You've been talking to the Vale people for more than a decade about that, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, they got to develop that stuff over there anyway. Hell, there's that, what they call the Eastvale chutes. It used to be, every time somebody went over there, they got an avalanche. And there's a lot of steep stuff over there, and they kick an avalanche loose. Now it's almost skied out. It's getting crowded. So they got it stabilized. So soon. That's the only... There's not too many places it's got. I don't know who's got 3,000 vertical. Not too many of them that do in a regular ski area. I mean, that you can make it down. Vale's got 3,000 vertical, but it's not...
It's not challenging, is it?
Downhill caliber. It's not world class. That one up there in Eastville shoots, though, that's world class. They won't yawn when they go through the finish gate there. If they get to the finish gate. But you could make a lot of different downhills off of there. You wouldn't have to be just one downhill. Got a lot of room to work with.
What did you do when we lived in California?
What?
We were in California for...
Was building ski bobs.
Yeah, for what was the name of that company?
That was Sit-Ski. Well, that's the ski bob they built was Sit-Ski. But hell, we built 5,000 ski bobs.
Mm-hmm. Was that for George Garcia's company?
Yeah, George Garcia. He was the main one. And he had some people with some money, I guess. Of course, he married a gal from Germany that had a lot of money. So he had money. And he talked other people into putting money in. He was up in Aspen for quite a while, too, in the early days. And he come along, wanted me to go out there and build ski bobs. And we built ski bobs for 2 years out there.
He went broke, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he had all those damn ski bobs out scattered around, but they weren't really ski bobs. I mean, they weren't good enough. This ski bob I got now, though, I got that thing down real good now. And you can haul it on the lift, you can fold it up, put it on the gondola. And when you go down the mountain, you can do anything you want to. Go anywhere you want to. Some bills piled up there too. I got it.
When you were living in Aspen, you went down the Colorado River. Well, you first did you start at the Roaring Fork River?
Yeah, right in the middle of Aspen.
You started in the middle of Aspen?
Yeah.
What did you guys ride down the river on?
Well, it was a small rubber raft.
Was it a surplus pontoon from a...
Well, the big one was a surplus pontoon from an Army engineer pontoon for building bridges for tanks and stuff to cross. The big one we had.
You had two?
Well, we had a little one we went down the Roaring Fork on.
Uh-huh.
But after we went down there, we put it on we got the other one down Glenwood, we put it on down there. That was before they built the freeway through Glenwood. They had nice grass out there by the river and had a big party and stuff.
So you got the big pontoon when you got to Glenwood Springs, where you joined the Colorado River.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How far did you go? All the way to...
All the way to Boulder Boat Dock.
Which is on... What's the name of that lake that's on...
Lake Mead.
That's Lake Mead. So you went down the Colorado River before there was any Glen Canyon Dam?
Oh, yeah.
How many...
Yeah, they couldn't do it again. That's impossible now.
Yeah, how many people...
We probably got a...
Did you see when you were going down the river? Did you see anybody when you went down there?
Not too many. We picked up Lee's Ferry, Arizona. We picked up a couple of hitchhikers that went through the canyon with us.
Which canyon did they go through?
The Grand Canyon.
Oh, you went through the Grand
That's where
Canyon.
the Grand Canyon starts, is about Lee's Ferry, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't go through the entirety of the Grand Canyon, do you?
Oh, yeah. Well, to Lake Mead.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the canyon quits when Lake Mead comes in there. It's not canyon anymore.
Gets really wide and stuff.
Oh yeah, it widens out.
Of course, the Grand Canyon's pretty wide too. There are places in the Grand Canyon that are 10 miles wide. What's that like to be down at the bottom of the Grand Canyon riding in a raft?
Like what?
What's it like to be at the bottom of the Grand Canyon in a raft? Is that pretty amazing?
Yeah, it's different. You got to look up. Well, it's about, what is it? It's about a mile deep down in there, I think. Pretty close to it.
Does it seem like a mile when you're down there in the bottom? Or?
Oh yeah. Look up, see the rim up there is pretty high. In spots you don't see too much.
How many miles a day did you make on the river?
Oh, I don't know. Some days probably done pretty good. Other days we probably didn't get very much.
Was there an average that you remember, or was it too long ago?
Well, it took. We left Aspen in June, and it was August when we got in to Boulder Boat Dock.
So 2 months to get to Boulder Boat Dock.
At least 2 months.
Who'd you go with?
A guy named Chuck Boldy. Charles Boldy.
He died recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he died last summer.
Yeah, you have a film somewhere that's got that trip documented, don't you? Bolte had it in his possession for a while.
Well, we made a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Boldy had the movie. And he was over in Hotchkiss over there somewhere, and he was trying to protect it from fire. And I think he had a basement where he was living, and he put it down in the basement, had it buried, dug in there, so it's pretty fireproof. In case something caused the house burned down, it'd still be there. But it flooded and filled the basement with water for a long time. When he finally got the movie, it was ruined.
But there was some of it that was left, wasn't there?
I don't know. He didn't say.
Because you've got it on videotape.
Well, there was other stuff too. There was pieces of it. I got a little bit of pieces of it.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the entirety
It wasn't
then.
the entire thing.
So what you have is just a very small part.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of footage that you took.
Oh yeah, we took a lot. Hell, every day we were making movies, of some kind.
You had a lot of fun doing that.
Then we picked up those 2 hitchhikers down in Arizona.
Were they prospecting is what they were doing?
They were prospecting for uranium, and they weren't doing much, so they decided that'd be better just go down the river.
Yeah. What year was that? Do you remember?
About 51 or 2, 52, I think.
Oh, so it was quite a while before Vail.
Oh, yeah. It was quite a while before that. 10 years before that.
Mm-hmm. When did you get Vail going with Pete Seibert? What year was that? Was that late 50s or?
I think about 57 was when Pete got interested.
Yeah.
I was in the uranium prospecting at that time, too.
What did you say that you were going over one day to Denver and you stopped at Loveland to see him?
Pete, we talked about it at different times in Vail, about different places. Everybody, all the ski bums in in Aspen, all the ski bums over there had big dreams of finding a new ski area. But nobody knew just what or where. They had dreams, and most of them were just dreams. But I was looking at Vail and Beaver Creek both. Copper Mountain, I looked at that. Looked at Well, there's Peak 1 out of Frisco. We looked at that pretty good, and this hadn't never been developed. And there was Mount Massive over at Leadville. We had that just about ready to go, and then they turned that into a wilderness area.
Did you go up to Mount Massive with Lefty McDonald then?
Yeah, Lefty, and there's a couple other people that were interested in that too. Nobody with any money. That could have been a pretty good ski area. I looked at Copper Mountain quite a bit.
Yeah, there was nothing developed. What year did Breckenridge get started?
We looked at Breckenridge too. I don't know, they were... What are they? I think they got started just before Vail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so they had...
With a small amount, just one lift they had up there. They had to drive up.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't ski all the way down then.
They had investments or investment behind them at Breckenridge?
I guess they had something. But you had to drive. You couldn't ski down to the town. And you had to drive up, and they had a parking lot up there, and then you had one lift out of there.
It sounds pretty complicated.
But we went over there and climbed to the top of
Mm-hmm.
Peak 8.
You did the, when the Olympics were going to come to Colorado, you did some work for the scouting to try and find out where to put areas.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do exactly?
Looking for a downhill.
It was only a downhill that you were looking for?
Well, a downhill and anything else. We were looking for all the... Out of Denver was... Of course, Denver was the one that was doing it, and we was trying to get as close to Denver as possible. But we had two downhills. One, Mount Snicktow. That's just below Loveland Basin a little ways down the valley there. Then over on Highway 40 out of Empire, up on Cone Peak, that's still a pretty good area. I've done a lot of looking at that. That could be a good area right now. It's got about, you don't find that on the eastern slope very much, but that Cone Peak's got, well, Cone Peak itself's got about 3,000 vertical you can ski. And then you can go up a little higher above where it is, and you can go up another 600 feet or something, I think, and ski down off another direction and come back into the same bottom. But they could have got a downhill in there pretty easy. So that's Mount Snicktow. That was, to get up there, you'd drive to the top of Loveland Pass, then you'd climb up to the top of the mountain there, and then you'd ski down the front side. I did that on skis with the Forest Service. The Forest Service was looking with us too. In fact, yeah, the same guy that skied down with me on the Forest Service, he had an airplane. He got an airplane. He was an airplane pilot too. And we flew over all that stuff with a small airplane one day. Took pictures of it and stuff.
Did you get to know those guys pretty well?
Oh yeah. Well, not too well, but I forgot what their name was. This guy, I forgot his name. What the hell was his name?
Yeah. It's hard to remember when somebody just asks you. You know, that's not fair.
I'd probably find some old stuff here that I got. I might find his name on it.
You still have old maps and different things around.
Some. Well, I got a pile of old maps up there. Those have got those ski areas are on there. Down by Denver, we had places for ski jumps, and well, up there by Cone Peak, you could by Empire, you could got a jump in there pretty good too. And we was trying to up by towards above Evergreen. up in there towards Mount Evans up in there. We had a guy that was a cross-country type person with the Olympics. And we went up in there one time and looked at all that, and he thought that'd be all right. Because the altitude's lower. You have to, for the cross-country, you got to get low down altitude as you can.
Yeah, because it's strenuous.
Yeah.
So the whole idea was to find stuff that's close to Denver then.
Yeah.
It'd be different today if you were...
And then we had some jumps.
If you were to do the same thing, you could with the improved highways and the potential to put in maybe some rail or whatnot, you might be able to...
I think you'd have to get Denver out of the picture, because Denver's too far away from anything. What I'm thinking right now is Vail's got a downhill with 3,000 vertical, world-class downhill up there in East Vail. Get that underway, and then Vail and Steamboat Springs together could go for the Olympics. The Steamboat's already set pretty much for Nordic stuff. Then Vail could have the Alpine stuff. We talked about that before a couple of times.
Oh, you mean when you were looking for the stuff for the Olympics before that?
No, not
that came
at
up?
that time. This was after that. Me and Pete talked about it a couple of times, doing that way with Steamboat and Vail going together. Because for Denver to try to do it, they're just too far away from anything. But that Cone Peak over there out of Empire, that's a possibility. On the Colorado River, one night we pulled in, I think it was to Peach Creek. We pulled in there in the evening, and there was a big nice sandbar there and everything, and this water stream of nice clean water was coming down out of the hills there. And we played in that a while, stayed there, and we anchored there. And before we went down the river, some people had been down there before, different people. They told us, if you go down there, get a long anchor rope, and when you tie up at night, you tie up high up on the bank to something solid. So that's the way we did it. And that night, it's a good thing we did. Because we went to bed, and all of a sudden it started raining. Lightning was flashing, it was raining, and really dumping. We were sleeping on the boat. We always slept on the boat anyway. And with the lightning flashing on both sides of the wall, waterfalls were coming off of both sides of the canyon down in toward the river. There's big waterfalls coming off all over the place. And the river was coming up some. That's why they told us to tie up high, because a lot of times that river can come up real fast from flood and come up a long ways. It'll wash you away. So we were all tied up there, and like I say, the lightning was flashing, and the waterfalls were coming off the side, and the river came up. But then it went on through. I mean, it just kind of quit raining, and we went back to sleep. And pretty soon we woke up and we heard a roar. And this side canyon where this stream came out, there was a real gush of water came down that side canyon. And that sandbar we were tied to, as we were on, the next morning it was gone. But with our long rope, we just kind of floated around and went back to the bank. We were still there. And there was a rapid right below there, too. So we'd have been going through that rapid in the middle of the night. That was a pretty good one. But there was a lot of water came out of that canyon. It took it quite a while. I know we went back to sleep after the rain, and then we woke up and we were roaring all over.
Uncle Reuben just died. He died the other day.
He had a brain tumor.
He died on Easter Sunday, didn't he?
No, he just died a few days ago.
That's what Easter Sunday, wasn't it?
Well, maybe it was. I don't know.
I don't know exactly. I wasn't here.
But she didn't say what day it was. She said just a few days ago.
What was it like when your dad died? What was that like for you?
Oh, we were pretty well expecting him. He had cancer.
He was sick for a while?
Oh, yeah, quite a while. Yeah, smoked too many cigarettes. He had lung cancer, and that got him. So we were pretty well expecting that.
Mom told me that you arrived to say goodbye to him just moments before he died.
Yeah, well, I've been down there a couple of times. He was living in Grand Junction with Marie. Down there a couple of times, but then we went down there that day and got there just about the time he died, pretty close.
You did get to say goodbye to him, though, eh?
Well, I don't know for sure.
He wasn't very conscious at the time?
No, not too much.
Do you think he heard what you said?
Oh, probably.
Do you remember what you said to him?
No.
Just whatever came to you at the time?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you tell him you loved him?
Oh, might have.
Was he the kind of man that you could tell that you loved, or that you loved him, or what?
Yeah. You had to love him. He was a good man.
I know a lot of people from that generation. It was kind of one of those things popular in the culture to talk about, that it was hard to tell people that you loved them. That you couldn't express your feelings to your parents with that generational difference.
You have a family, you gotta have love, but pretty much you can't help it.
So your family didn't have any problem telling each other that you loved them and different things like that.
Well, you didn't run around every day saying, I love you, I love you.
No. So you didn't have a touchy-feely family?
Hmm?
Your family wasn't touchy-feely?
What's that?
Oh, all emotional and everything.
No. Just living life was about what it amounted to. Getting through it.
Was life pretty tough?
Well, it wasn't too easy.
Well, you were on a homestead. It must have been...
Yeah, it was different than today. If he was on a homestead today, it'd be pretty rough, probably.
You used to build...
Certain homesteads would be all right.
When you were a kid, you used to build all kinds of stuff. You entertained yourself pretty well, you and your brothers.
There was always a lot of work to do.
Didn't you tell me you built your own, toboggan chutes when you were when you were a kid during the wintertime?
Well,
to go sledding down the hill on?
Skis, homemade skis we'd slide down the hill on. We'd build jumps for those, and because that was the biggest thing on skis at that time, and there wasn't too much skiing around. Well, even when Vail went in, people around here, you'd say something about skiing, and they'd say, "What's that?" What's that?
So people around here didn't much notice Vail when it went in, then. It was just kind of something that happened?
Not in before it really started happening, but the word was out that it was going to be in.
But did they not...
Couple of years, 2 years anyway.
They didn't think it would amount to much, or?
Well, they didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't have any idea what a ski area was, really. Maybe some of them had been to Aspen, not too many of them, in a couple places. There wasn't too many of them had skis.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you got a lot of the help to build the area from the local people.
Oh yeah. Well, they knew how to work. They didn't know how to ski, but they knew how to work. That's what it was work. It was all work.
Non-stop work for a while, huh?
Yeah.
How many years did you spend putting that place together until you had to leave?
Well, I was 62. This was when the first year it opened. We built 3 lifts the first year. And we didn't do any lift building the second year. Or even the third year, I don't think, no. Then one year I went down to Durango and built the Purgatory. Spent that summer down there. Those guys wanted somebody down there that knew how to build a lift, and I went down there and put that lift in.
What year did you leave Vail?
Oh, I don't know what year it was.
It was, what, 65, 66, something like that? Or was it
67.
67, later than that? And
Well, so I say I went down to Durango one year and built, then went back to Vail and we built 3 lifts up there the next year. Got those going. Seemed like always building all of them at one time, all in one summer. Did one year, one this year, and one next year. Now they build them 1 year at a time, pretty much. But the lift companies today build most of their own lifts. If you buy a lift, they install it for you, which is part of your good idea.